Big dub for the Cougs. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Washed Up. I'm here with the one, the only Tavernari. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm just glad you guys, took me out of timeout. I can come out and play now again. Is it TJ that doesn't like me because he's not here today? I mean, what's going on?
Hey, I hate to throw my guy. Actually, I don't hate to throw my guy under the bus. I'm just gonna throw him under the bus. Yeah, it's TJ. Okay.
Okay.
When you come on, should we call it playtime with JT because you're out of timeout?
Okay. I'm okay with that. I like that.
That's awesome. Love it. Well, I wanna just jump right in here. The people that have regularly listened to our show know that we do a lot of these things that we're gonna go through anyway. Next week we'll have an actual good win, go Cougs. Let's go, John. We'll actually have like a graphic with the rundown, but we're going to do a lot of things that are going to be familiar to people listening. We're stepping our game up now that it's conference. But number one is we're going to go Wordle. We call it Wordle. That's our one word gut reaction. We're going to say it at the same time. Ready? Three, two, one. Dub.
Job done.
Job done. One word. Squish it into one. All right, you go first. Job done. Go.
I would say this, Eric. When during my days when we would win all of those conference championships, and you would go and play at the Colorado States, at the Wyomings,
right.
at the TCUs, we just got the job done. It wasn't pretty. A lot of times it wasn't a spectacle. It wasn't a Showtime performance with dunk. Sometimes you shot 3 for 11 from 3 like Richie did. But you got the job done. And I think that for BYU to take the next step and to level up for Big 12 conference in general, and I'm just talking about the AJ era. I'm talking about in general. They need to level up. They need to get the job done on the road. And today was the perfect game to do it. Like, it was kind of tough. They kind of came back at the end. It was kind of competitive, but BYU got the job done. So I know it's supposed to be a one word, but English is my third language. So, let me get away with it. So
I didn't know that. It's news to me. So I give you no excuses. Okay. Yeah. My word was dub. I mean, for very similar reasons, right? Like we got to win, right? Like, I don't think it was pretty by any means. We're going to get to some of those specifics later. But like, it was a win. A win is a win. And you consider Kansas State is a very capable team. They're in the Big 12. They've won some good games this year. Jerome Tang is a good coach that has a good history of winning. We haven't played in 12 days. We're on the road. It's the start to conference. And just like you said, you remember winning all those games that, kind of feel like trap games, Oh, we just lost them. I don't know what happened to JT, but it's just me. I'm solo. Let's see. He's back. He went to timeout for a second. No, I was going to say, like, it kind of feels like almost two categories of games in conference, right? It's like the big ones you get up for, or like the trap games, right? And this is more of a trap game because these guys have had a little bit of a down year. They're not ranked. There wasn't all this hype going into this game, but they're a capable team. And there's just something about conference starting, and I don't know if it's jitters or the scouting report tightens, the rotations tighten, the identity has been kind of finalized within teams. So you might not have had an unbelievable preseason. They went 9-4, they lost some ugly ones, but they know who they are and they're going to stick to their guys now. And so I think just getting a dub was important. Like you said, I'm glad that we played them today and kind of got some of the rust out after 12 days since our last game versus like starting on the road versus Kansas, right? Like, we have that at the end of the month. We have some time to build up to that.
Yeah. And the one thing that I would just add on top of that is, to your comment, there will be some games on the road that BYU was like, we're lucky that we won that game. And that's going to happen. It happens every season. Thankfully, this wasn't one of them, right? They didn't play their best game,
right?
But nonetheless, they did what they had to do to get a win.
Yep. And on the road, like, is great. Okay, let's go to number 2. Let's hear who your game changer is. We're going to say our player of the game at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
AJ.
No, you got to say it at the same time. Kaba. I'm going Kaba. Go AJ. You go first.
A lot of BYU fans were asking, hey, you got to call a foul on AJ. Hey, that's got to, you got to call a foul. And even AJ, for a good amount of the game, I felt like it wasn't until the last 10 minutes of the game that he was like, oh, I got to really finish this. Like, I got to push it through. And I think that's credit to the Big 12 conference, right? Everybody talks about the SEC and football, but the Big 12 conference is that, right? Is the best conference in the country. And so the physicality that AJ will see night in and night out is unmatched. And for me, for him to be able to finish, I think he finished with 23 or 24 points.
24.
And to have the shooting night that he had and just be able to play the way he played, I was pretty impressed. And so, I know it's a cop-out answer, but again, he is the engine that makes BYU goes, and today was no different.
Yeah, we're getting nitpicky here. The only reason it's not even a reason not to pick AJ, right? Look, this stat line is crazy. 24 points, 8 rebounds, and he shot the ball well, 8 for 15. He was 7 for 10 from free throw line. He had 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. He obviously struggled with the ball a little bit. He turned it over 7 times. But I just felt like kind of the rebounding battle. I tweeted early in the game, like, hey, let's clean up these turnovers and let's win. Let's get them off the old boards a little bit. And we're going to be fine. Like, I feel like if we did that, we would have won this game by 20 instead of 10. But we won that rebounding battle 47 to 35 because of my player of the game, Kaba Keita's 16 boards, dude. Like, I just thought, like, but that's an eye-popping number. But then, like, 11 points, 4 for 4 from the field. Like, he just didn't really make any mistakes, and so having him back there as your anchor, I'm going away from my player of the game, but then also Ahmed coming in. He had a couple great blocks as well. He was like punting it into the stands. But you've got these big guys that are really, really locked in on their job, not trying to do more than that. And I think that's going to be key for us.
I have a question for you. Just looking at, men lie, women lie, but you and I rely a lot on numbers, right? And so when you look at pretty much everybody but Keba playing 33 plus from the starting 5, what is your reaction to that? Like, as soon as you see it, AJ with 33, Kennard with 35, Richie with 35, and Rob with 37. What do you make of that?
I kind of make of it that this is just going to be our team, right? Like, I think we have capable guys on the team. We see that, the rotation tighten, right? Like, we only had 3 guys off the bench. It was kind of surprising to me to see Hadim not get out there and get any run, but Boscovich had a great game, right? So I think, and I think you and I at different points said this or talked about this on the Sports Nation show or BYU TV show. Like, I just think this could be what we look like, right? Like, we're just going to have to play our guys heavy minutes because our bench, it's not like they aren't capable, but it's just like they haven't complemented in a way that they need to be out there, right? Like, I still think that they're capable. I don't want to bag on the guys, but I just don't think that they haven't shown what we need to see for them to take any minutes, right? Like, we're just too efficient. And we're in too good of a shape, and we have too good of a rhythm with these guys. So it's going to be these guys. That's just what we look like.
I will say it. After 14 games, they most likely are not capable at this point, and that's discouraging. I'm going to say it. I have been, talking to some close friends of mine. Maybe I've been overly critical because because when you're playing overseas, being a 6-man, some people make a career out of that, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm being overly critical because that's what I did for a living. I was the 6-man that came off the bench and was supposed to lit up everything. But it is discouraging to see, Alexei not providing any type of assistance. Mihailo finally came in and had a good game. Tyler with another disappointing performance. And that's just difficult, right? Because again, you are so top heavy that, again, right, knock on wood, and how some of Italians, used to, grab their private parts for good luck.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
Do you
was gonna say,
remember?
I know where you're going with this. You don't need to finish the thought, but you did.
Yeah, especially in Sicily. And so, like finally Mihailo was 2 for 3 from 3, and then made a free throw, had an and one, only had 3 rebounds in 18 minutes, but was able to come in and complement with what he done. One of my favorite plays of the game, and I don't know if we're going to talk about this later on, but to me, a key play of the game, Eric, was when they kind of try to play a pick and roll. He went to the opposite side of the court. Yeah. He was on the right block. They came to double team. He left it to Kennard, who swing to Rob, who swing to Richie, and then swung to Mihailo, and Mihailo knocked down a three-pointer. That's what BYU needs desperately, and he has to come from Mihailo, and he has to come for Tyler. And I don't know if it's ever going to come from Alexei because, to your point, he's going to be needed sometime this season. But, man, it is difficult right now.
The way I see it, and, like, as you were talking, I think you kind of helped me frame it in my own mind. Like, it's not like, I don't know. Obviously, they haven't proven enough to the coaching staff to earn the minutes from the guys that are playing, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be as much as like last year. We talked about this a lot, where the bench was like such a huge piece of that team. You had basically 2 units that could go in and kind of mix and match depending on the matchups. I think this year, this comment hits it on the head. Carter Cannon, what's up? 28 non-big 3 points. It's not going to be, hey, how many bench points do we have? It's how many non-big 3 points do we have, right? Like we had 28. Yeah. So Richie didn't have an unbelievable game. You're always, I think so far we've shown you're always going to have two of the big 3 that have really good games, right? Like especially scoring. Yeah. I thought it was crazy to hear that Rob Wright, the announcers, mentioned this on CBS. He would be the leading scorer for 200 different Division I schools, right? And he's our third option. He's our third leading scorer right now. So that's a luxury that we have. So I think two of our big 3 have always had big games. So as long as the non-big 3, so that's going to be sometimes Bosco, right? Like I still think Russ or Alexei could come in and have a good game here or there, right? I think Boop can do something, like I think Ahmed is capable. As long as all those guys add up to, what we saw tonight, 28 points, you get 25 to 35 points, then I just think, I think you're going to be okay.
And I will say something, Carter, that's a fantastic point because up to now at the pregame show and then at the postgame show on BYU TV, one of the things that I've been always saying is bench points. But I like the way you framed this, Carter, about non-big 3 points, right? And I think to your point, Eric, if the big 3 all have a good game, it is difficult to imagine that BYU is going to lose that game.
Yeah, we win.
Yeah.
That's 65 points probably.
Yeah,
right?
It is. If they all have good games, meaning they all score, 70 or more points between the 3 of them, it is difficult to think that BYU is going to drop a game or so. If 2 of them don't have a big game, but you have, 25 plus from everybody else, maybe there's a chance. And that's what we saw today, where, between the 3 of them, let's see, we had AJ with 24, Richie with 13, that's 37, Rob with 18, that's 55 out of 83, however much that is. Can you do that on top of your head? Divided by 83. That's 66%. And so, to your point, Eric, I think that just becomes do I have to leave now?
JT's out. We just flipped the letters. JT out, TJ in. Look at that.
Am I back on timeout now that TJ is back?
Hey, don't you have a game to coach?
In 58 minutes, like you got time. I live across the street. I'm good.
Are you really close?
I mean, kind of, but I drive crazy. Though I shouldn't have said that. Don't record this.
JT, I think that's fair. Tease, we're just kind of talking about, instead of framing it like bench points versus starter points, it's kind of like big 3 points versus non-big 3. If the non-big 3, so Kaba, Kennard, plus the guys that get some burn, like if that can be in the 25 to 35 range, then we're going to be okay. I think that's fair. It's kind of like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like it's working. We're winning games, but like I do still have some concern when you get to the Arizonas and even the Kansases, the Iowa State, the Houstons, like some really, really good teams with some national momentum. Like, what if we do have a night where Richie is off shooting and AJ's in foul trouble, right? Like, again, Italians, knock on wood, but like it might happen, right? So, and all you need is one bad game in the tournament and then you're out, right? So it still is a little bit concerning. Like I'd love to see kind of more depth, but we just haven't needed it right now. So I'm just not going to complain about it.
How many points do you guys think we need outside of the big three?
So I would
for us to be really good.
So I would answer this. It's a two-part answer. If the big three get to their 70 points, 70% of points, I feel like, well, I'll say this. I think for BYU to be good, they need 30 or more non-big 3 points. I think that's the easier answer, TJ. That's what I think.
Well, let me look. AJ's at 23 a game. Richie's at basically 19, so that's like 42. What are they scoring? Is it like 60 basically?
I think they're like a 66 right now. I think it's a lot. Like it is.
I think it's around 60 because it's like Rob Wright's 16, Richie's 19, plus AJ's 23. So it's like it's close to 60.
What was it? 54 today.
Yeah, and it was an off day for Richie, right? So I think if you have 50 from the big three, plus I think JT nailed it. I think if you have 30 non-big three, then we win a lot of games, even the tough ones that I just mentioned.
Teach, just before you say something, between the three of them, they're averaging 57.9 points per game. BYU is averaging 87.4. That is exactly 66% of the points. And so I will say this, Carter, shout out to you. I'm going to piggyback on this for the rest of the year. But I will give you credit, and Eric's going to send you a head or something. And but
paid
for
by JT.
Sure. If BYU is going to get to the Final Four, then the big three needs to have what they're averaging, and the non-big 3 points need to be at least 30. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I like that. We hit that. We hit 56. It was 54 today, Teach. And then
yeah, I think it was
54 and 28. So, we get it done.
Today was 55.
Yeah. All right, on to the next one. JT's got about 10 more minutes, then he's going to bounce. I'm going to go something or nothing. JT already knows what this is because we chatted pre-show for a second. 19 turnovers. Is that something or is that nothing? I'll open it with JT, then I'll go TJ.
It's definitely, I'm going to say I'll say it's nothing because it's the first game that they've had a large number of turnovers like this. I think maybe it's the second of the year that they had more than 12 or 13. But lessons will be learned, right? BYU is always a second half team, but this game, they were a first half team. And so with the adjustments that Kevin Young can make on the roster, I would say that, it's, and I don't know, TJ, how much of the game you got to watch, but like, I think it's an adjustment to like AJ and getting fouled, and the refs and the whistle. And so I would say that some of the turnovers, that is because he was being, slapped and reached and just not used to it. And so I'm going to say it's nothing.
Yeah.
TJ.
Well, I mean, initially I was thinking it's something just based on the fact that like this is conference play now. And
yeah, that's what I was saying to JT earlier.
I mean, like, yeah, I think refs generally do swallow their whistle a little bit more come conference play. So yeah, it's going. You're right. You said it right, JT. This is game one of league play, so we don't know if it's truly something or not. But I do know that everyone knows your plays. Everyone knows your tendencies. Everyone knows you like to go to your left or right or get to the basket or shoot going to your right or whatever it is. They know all those little things. They've scouted you out better than anybody, and refs swallowed their whistle more. So like, I guess it's going to be interesting to see now if that, I just think league play it steps up so much more. And so I hope that is nothing and we bring those down. I think we need to live around like 10 turnovers, 10 to 12 maybe.
Yeah, I think we're at 9.5 on the season.
Yeah, if we can live around 10, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's too early to really think anything of anything, right? Like it's our first conference game. It hasn't been an issue this year. I think we had a lot against Abilene Christian. There might have been one other game, so it could have been 3 that we had a bunch of turnovers. I felt like AJ a little bit was looking for the foul today, which you haven't seen since UConn, in my opinion. That just that first half where he was kind of looking around, he was on the ground a lot, and that's just like, man, I remember those days as a freshman. Like I was like, how is that not a foul? Like I genuinely believed it was, whether it was or wasn't, right? So but you haven't really seen that much from him. Again, I think that's 12 days away. I think that's the adjustment to the conference. It's like making our first jump from when we played whoever, Division II school, or I can't even remember who it was at the beginning of this season, versus like our first real challenge, right? Like there's just going to be a little bit of growing pain, but I'm not going to be concerned about it until I have to. If we had more than, we play Arizona State next week. If we have more than like 14, 15 again, then I'm like, okay, we got to really probably start focusing on this. But I don't know. It always comes back to this. Like, I just think KY knows what he's doing. I think he's going to get these guys right. And so I'm not too concerned about it right now.
Against an explosive team, though, you have 19. Like, you're lucky if you come out with a win with 19 turnovers.
Agreed.
So, let's learn this lesson now.
Yeah, it's true.
Which they did. Something I mentioned to Eric earlier, Tej, was, we, when we were in the Mountain West, and I know that, we transitioned to the West Coast Conference when you guys were there, but like a lot of the success that we had in the Mountain West was because some of these non-marquee games, right, where you're not playing against Houston or Arizona or Iowa State or another top 10 or top 15 team, you just have to take care of business. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you just have to go in. It's on the road. And I think you made a great point, TJ. Like, BYU had 19 turnovers against a team that is prone to cause turnovers. They're prone to, kind of, speed up the game. And credit to Kansas State for making a run at the end, right? I mean, the game got somewhat close, right? It was never in danger, but, you did have to have your starters out there. And BYU was able to handle it, regardless, there's a word in Italian. I don't know how to say this now, Eric. Nonostante. So, like, so it's
nevertheless,
like BYU, so what I'm trying to say is, like, BYU still won nonostante.
Despite. Yeah.
Despite. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
It depends on the,
Merci, mon chéri. Très bien.
Yeah.
Teach, how's my French?
Fantastic. Wow. That's beautiful.
Oui. So, like, despite Richie not having a good game, despite 19 turnovers, it was still a win. And if BYU is able to find these wins on the road against these mid to bottom tier teams in the Big 12, then they're going to have the really big ones at home, like with Arizona and Houston, Iowa State, and that becomes a key for them to be able to potentially win the league.
I completely agree. And
go ahead, Teach.
Well, yeah, I completely agree. And literally any conference win is huge. Like if you go win, let alone on the road, home, whatever, you win, it's huge. And I like, as you're saying all these things, JT, I'm like, man, yeah, Richie goes 3 for 11 from 3, like 19 turnovers, all these things happen. And we like figure out how to win. Like that is the mark of a great team. That's how teams, it's like, man, they don't have to have everything go right for them to beat teams. If like anything goes wrong, they just crumble. It just, you figure out ways to win on the road in the Big 12. We're happy.
Yep. I like it. All right, we're gonna jump to the comments here. We got a couple. We already highlighted Carter's in there. I thought this was, get some hype going from John Higley right here. Good win. Good one. Go Cougs. I like this one. I felt this same way. You just kind of spoke to this, JT. It was nice to feel in control the whole game. Like, I was never really in doubt. They got off to a good start. They were pushing in transition. I feel like we had 4 or 5 turnovers right there in the first couple minutes, right? So that number really does feel inflated because the first couple minutes we were flustered and it got better, but never felt like it was out of control. Carter, we've talked about this a bunch. 28 non-big 3 points. That's going to be something that we probably talk about pregame a lot here with BYU TV. Like, it's not bench points. It's non-big 3 points. And then here's our boy. I think he meant to say Beto. 2 games in, the new guy's looking good. I agree. I don't know how much he's learned, even since he's joined. It's like 12 days of nothing, right? Like just a little bit of practices. So I think he's going to get better and better. But he's a great rim protector. I tweeted this. I told you this already, JT. Like, you go from Keba, he has to be one of the most efficient. I don't know what metrics they have for that, but he has to be one of the most efficient rim protectors in the country. To go from him, he goes on the bench, to now Beto comes in, and like, he had 2 like nasty blocks. Like, I think he does a really good job as well. And that's going to be important. We aren't the biggest team. Even Beto, I think, will be outsized once we get to the tournament and some of these in conference games. But we play bigger than we are, and that's all that matters, right? So just want to give a little shout out to our friends in the comments. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to
that. Good teams win, great teams cover, and BYU cover today. So it is the day and age we are in today, fellas. Let's be realistic, right? And so,
should we, whenever JT says that, should we put up like the gambling addiction hotline, like across the screen? Like, if you or a friend needs help, call this number. This guy, he lived in Vegas for too long. All right, JT, you got to go. I want to hear the too soon from you, your question, and then that can be your cue to go coach your kids.
I want to get your answer on this first. Everybody on so the big 3. Let me just pull it up here, the stats again for the game, and that's my too soon. And especially if they're going. And my question is: AJ 33, Richie 35, Robert 37. Is it too soon to start worrying that these guys are going to break down in about 6 to 8 weeks?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I think KY has managed pros his whole career, and I think he knows, like, going into the week, he knows it doesn't have to be like the craziest, hardest practice. Like, that's how they're going to progress. I would guess they have lots of rest, recovery. They're very smart about how they go about their practices and making sure that, come Wednesday, come Saturday, like, these dudes are ready to go. I don't feel too concerned about it. We haven't seen anything yet, knock on wood. So I think I'm confident.
Can I add one more question for TJ, Eric, just based on what you said, TJ?
Yep.
I'm looking at their season averages. Robert Wright, 32.8, AJ, 31.4, Richie, 31.2. And so I maybe by the end of conference, they might be at 33, 32, 33, 34 minutes a game. That's a lot, guys.
It is a lot.
It is.
It's how much Eric and I played my freshman year, his sophomore year.
I didn't know that. TJ would know that. He's always paying attention to how much playing time he gets. So
that's not true. I remember seeing that.
No, I'm just kidding.
But
it's a great question, JT. I think that's going to be like a story of the year. Like, we have like enough pieces, I think, to win a lot of games. But you're
are you concerned? Are you concerned,
guys.
JT?
I just think usage is a lot. And
what do you think it should be at? if it's at 31, you think 31 is a good number, or do you
Actually,
think it should be?
maybe better question, like what can you do about it? Like I would love if it's lower too, but I don't think we can do anything about it.
Right.
That's
And
my point.
we have an expression in Brazil. Are you going to cover your head and you're going to, with the blanket, are you going to cover your head and then cover your feet? Or are you going to cover your feet and just leave your head out? There's nothing to do at this point, but it's, like, I think to you mentioned, TJ, like, as long as you can keep turnovers under 12, like it is, usage is super high. And I just feel like, like they may be able to get through conference, but then you're going to come to the conference tournament where you're going to have 3 games in 3 days, and then you're going to get to the NCAA tournament, and like, is these guys, like, how is their body going to handle this? You know what I mean? And I just don't know the answer, as you guys, right? I bleed blue. It's part of who I am with BYU, and obviously we want them to win the national championship. And but for them to, and to your point, Eric, what can you possibly do? Nothing. And so, but nonetheless, it's still something that, for us to talk about.
Yep. This guy agrees with you. On your way out, Connor Ward. Shout out Connor. Not too soon. Granted, the bench stays healthy. There's no go-getter scorers off the bench. That now that Baker's out, that's Connor's problem with it.
Guys, I gotta hop. I love you both. TJ, please don't keep me in timeout too long. I love you guys.
We won't. All right, brother. Go win today.
Bye-bye.
Hi, JT.
What a guy. Yeah, I oh no, you can't hear me?
Can you hear me now?
No.
Can you hear me? Oh my.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Still can't hear you if you're trying to talk. Connor Ward, usage is super high. The bench are all good role supporters, but again, none are pure scores at the volume the big 3 score. Yeah, I'd agree. I honestly think 31 minutes is, I think it's totally fine. I think it's like, what are we going to do? I think we're going to figure it out, but I'm not too concerned about 31 minutes right now. I guess time will tell. Try it again. I can't hear you, but
Okay, can Kennedy hear me now? Kennedy's in the audience and she's listening. The only thing that we're going to add on top of this as we wrap it up is we're going to do a Big 12 barometer. We're just going to check in on the Big 12. That'll be kind of a recurring segment. So you have Houston, who squeaked it out at Cincinnati. I mean, so that tells you, could be a couple of things. I think it probably means that Cincinnati's pretty solid. They're about to win that by 5. There's 36 seconds left. Arizona is smashing Utah. Currently, it's 27-12. I think Arizona is going to do that to a lot of teams. BYU obviously beat Kansas State. Texas Tech won at home against Oklahoma State in a big fashion by 22. UCF getting Kansas, that's a big deal. UCF getting Kansas is a big deal at UCF. I know Kansas is still waiting for Darren Peterson to come back. But again, probably speaks to the strength of the conference. I would think that UCF is a good team. Coming from that result, TCU beats Baylor by 6. And then we've got Colorado and Arizona State at Arizona State tonight in about an hour. And then we're on to next week. So we're going to be here post-game after BYU Arizona State. Thank you guys for joining us. I know it was kind of a weird time, middle of the day, 2:20 Mountain Time. I'm on the East Coast, so 4:20 for me. So thank you guys for being here, and will be here on the 7th. So what is that, on Wednesday? So thanks, guys.